Number 5, we're going to do by factor by grouping. No matter what method you use, you always start the same. You multiply the first number and the last number together. 3 times negative 6 is, yep, it's negative 18. My class is very vocal right now. I think they're scared of the recording. And those same two numbers need to add up to the middle number, 7. So we got 1 times 18, we got 2 times 9, we got 3 times 6. Which numbers will add up to 7? The 2 and the 9. So negative 2 and positive 9. These numbers are going to help us split the middle term. So we have 3x squared. Here's the crazy thing. The order that you put these does not matter. It will work no matter what order you put them. So I'm going to do negative 2x plus 9x minus 6. Okay, so these two terms, if you add those together, it is still 7x. We haven't changed the expression. We just took that middle term and split it up using that pair of numbers that we found. Okay, next comes factor by grouping. Right after the second term, you split this into the first group and the second group. In that first group, what do 3x squared and negative 2x have in common? What could you divide out of both of them? X. Just x. We can't divide any numbers out of them. We can just divide out x. All right, so 3x squared, if I take the x out, we would just have 3x left over. Negative 2x, if I take the x out, we would have negative 2. In our second group, what do 9x and negative 6 have in common? 3. And here's a helpful hint. Whatever symbol is in front of that third term, use that symbol, especially if it's a minus sign. This time it's a plus, so we're fine. They have a 3 in common. 9x divided by 3 is 3x. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. If your parentheses don't match, you did something wrong. The parentheses have to match. Once you have this, you collapse this down. The x and the 3 form the first set of parentheses, and the 3x minus 2 is the second set of parentheses. Remember the step before, this step is just the distributive property fully written out. It's the x times the second set of parentheses, and then it's the 3 times the second set of parentheses. Just collapse that down into one set of parentheses. Take a moment and try number 6 using whichever method you prefer. I am actually going to do this using both methods to show you both ways in just a second. So pause the video. I don't think you paused the video. You need to pause the video and try this one. Like now, please, please. Okay, first step is always multiply your first and last. So 2 times 28 is 40, 50, 56. Did I do that right in my head? Woohoo! Mental math for the win today. And those numbers need to add up to negative 15. All right, on this one, I would definitely grab my calculator. 56 divided by 2 is 28. 2 and 28, that's not going to get me 15. 56 divided by 3 is a decimal, so that's definitely not going to work. 56 divided by 4, 4 and 14, no. I know 5's not going to work. Decimal, that doesn't work. 7 and 8. Yes, 7 and 8 would work. If it was a negative 7 and a negative 8. So if I'm doing guess and check, this one actually is a nice one for guess and check because there's only one way to get 2x squared. 2x and x. 2x times something, I'm guessing it's going to give me the negative 8x, so that's probably a negative 4, because 2x and negative 4 would give me that negative 8x. X times something needs to give me negative 7x, so that's got to be negative 7. So my final answer is 2x minus 7, x minus 4. Okay, there's my work for a guess and check. Factor by grouping, I would write 2x squared minus 7x minus 8x plus 28. Split this down the middle. My first group, 2 and negative 7 don't have anything in common, but they do both have an x. So that'd be 2x minus 7. In my second group, 8 and 28, they don't have 8 in common. They have more than 2 in common. 4. And drop that negative down. You want that negative 4. Negative 8x divided by negative 4 is positive 2x. 28 divided by negative 4 is negative 7. My two sets of parentheses match. So my factored form is x minus 4, 2x minus 7. And remember, the order of the parentheses doesn't matter. So see how the two ways that I did it ended up making them switched? That's totally fine. And if we had switched and put negative 8x first and negative 7x second, that would have also switched the order of the parentheses. So sometimes the work will look different, but we'll end up with the same answer in reality. Personally, on that one, I love guess and check because I feel like it's just quick, easy, done. But if you prefer factor by grouping, by all means do factor by grouping. Okay, I want to show you number 8 because when I was in high school, number 8, I would have looked at this one and said to my teacher, there is no way I'm doing guess and check because I'm terrified of making mistakes. And 12x squared, there's a lot of possibilities there. We could do 12x and x. We could do 6x and 2x. We could do 3x and 4x. There's lots of possibilities. So I want to show you how you can narrow down those options. So first of all, 12 times negative 7 is negative 84. So I need two numbers that multiply to give me negative 84 and add up to negative 25. Definitely grabbing my calculator for this one. 2 and 42, no. 3 and 28. Could I get negative 25 from 3 and 28? 3 and negative 28. Okay. So if I'm doing guess and check on this one, look at these numbers to give you a hint about which you should choose for the first blanks. Do you see the 3 right there? That means that one of these numbers times something is going to have to be 3x. That means this is probably a 3x. Which means this one would have to be a 4x. So I used my pair of numbers as a guide to help me narrow down what those first blanks are likely going to be. So then 3x times 1 is 3x. 4x times something needs to be negative 28x. What 4 times what is negative 28? Negative 7. So my factored form is 3x minus 7, 4x plus 1. Okay, the last problem we're going to do today is number 10. What is different about number 10 compared to the other problems we've done? It's only two terms. This looks kind of like maybe difference of two squares because it is. If you see that it's only two terms and it's subtraction, so things to look for, two terms, and it's subtraction. And then the other thing that you should notice is that 4 and 81 are both perfect squares. What's the square root of 4? 2. And then the square root of x squared is x. What's the square root of 81? 9. So your answer, your factored form, is 2x plus 9. 2x minus 9. It's just like the difference of two squares from yesterday, but now there's a perfect square in front of the x squared as well. So if I gave you, I don't know, 25x squared minus 49, how would that factor? 5x plus and minus 7. Ta-da! Super easy, right? Yay! On your worksheet, you are doing 3.1 day 2 worksheet, I would like you to do numbers 1 through 6. Numbers 7 through 12 are there for extra practice if you would like extra practice. Some of you are like, yeah, I really want to try this guess and check thing. I want more practice. They're there for you. You need to definitely do numbers 1 through 6. That will give you the minimum amount of practice that you need to help you learn this skill.